three main strategies to mitigate how much you can save in tariffs. And the reality is each of those three ways, when combined, can save you anywhere from 40 to 70% on your tariff expenses. What each of you need to do immediately is try to get on the phone with a bunch of bonded warehouses and figure out if you can get in there. What you need to do is work closely with your factory, break down in these worksheets these different expenses, and then get multiple invoices to split them up. You might even need to take some of your manufacturing away from your factory and get certain parts of your product made somewhere else in order to reduce even further. So the first first thing that we're going to discuss is going to be the First Sale Doctrine. All right. What that means is that if a factory makes a product and then sells it to your trading company, which could be your end factory, but it's a trading company essentially because they didn't manufacture that component themselves, then you are only due to pay the expense on the cost of the first sale. Meaning if your factory is taking components, and we're going to break down some examples here of different products, but they're taking zippers, for example, and they're putting it on a diaper bag. They didn't manufacture the zipper, but what likely they did is they bought the zippers in bulk from a factory at 20 cents a zipper. Then they're putting it on the bag and they're going to charge you 75 cents a zipper. You should only pay duties on the 25 cents for that cost of good for that component. And then, as you can see, that would reduce your cost of goods significantly if you do that across all components. So that's the First Sale Doctrine. The other thing that we're going to talk about are going to be around labor, R&D, packaging, instructions, printing, right? So we're going to break down some of those additional expenses. And the second way that we're going to save money is going to be around deferring some of these expenses by using bonded warehouses. So a bonded warehouse is a warehouse, or let me start from the top. Typically what happens is when your goods land, you have to pay your duties. So you pay immediately your tariffs while it's on the water already, or, it lands. As soon as it lands on American shore and is not in a bonded warehouse, you're paying all of the duties immediately. That's not ideal because that could be 6 months of inventory. And so what a bonded warehouse will do is they will take your goods and hold it in this secure area, and you will only pay the tariffs or the duties once it's released out of the bonded warehouse. So why is that good? First of all, it's a massive savings on cash flow. You're only gonna pay before you actually sell the goods. So instead of, let's say I've got goods that are $100,000 and you've got to pay 100% now, right? Which is insane, but it's $100,000 in goods. Now you're paying $100,000 the day it lands. Now the percentage can be 145% today, it can be 50% tomorrow, depending on where this whole, hot and cold war, goes. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, you're going to love the masterclasses that we host on a regular basis. We've got over 1,000 members in our private community, and over 400 of them are already doing over $1 million. We regularly host masterclasses with hundreds of students, and you can find out more below. Join us. The point, though, is that that's an extra $100,000 out of your pocket to grow your business. That's not ideal. So what each of you need to do immediately is try to get on the phone with a bunch of bonded warehouses and figure out if you can get in there. All of them are being bombarded by sellers right now and brands right now. It's a multi-month process for a warehouse to become bonded in the United States. Now, Steve Simonson spoke a little bit about this at BDSS. The replay is available. The replay is available, I think, for $1,000 for BDSS. And there were a lot of great talks. Recommend it. So billiondollarsellersummit.com. But Steve, who's brilliant, spoke about bonded warehouses a little bit, but you can go a lot further there. So From a cash flow perspective, you're saving a ton of money immediately. You don't have to worry about your goods not clearing the docks, right? And then as you sell it or are ready to sell it and you're ready to ship the inventory to a place it's going to get sold, that's big. Now, you can also reroute from a bonded warehouse to an international location, and you will never pay the tariff. You don't have to pay the US tariff. So you land it in the US into a bonded warehouse, and let's say you then decide that you're not going to sell it in the United States anymore, or a percentage of your goods are not going to get sold in the United States. They're going to get sold in Mexico or in Canada, where they don't have those tariffs. Then you can just ship it straight from that bonded warehouse out of the country, and you never pay the tariff on it. So that can save you a ton of money as well.